Some of the most popular features in Twitter are being able to retweet, send URLs, and mention others through @names. Let's take a look at how we can parse content from the Twitter feed using regular expressions. So if we go to our tweet section, we can see a bunch of tweets. Some of them have URLs, some of them have @mentions. So let's see how we can parse that information with some regular expressions. So I'm going to open up my JavaScript folder and open up the script file. And I'll go to the very end of the file where I have my Twitter section. So what I need to do is grab this text right here and make sure that I parse some of it using regular expressions. So we'll do that right here before we set the output. I'm going to modify the text variable that we created up there. And what I'll do is do a text.replace. And the text replace wants first a regular expression and then a replacement. Now, I don't want to type in an entire regular expression here. So for right now, I'm just going to abbreviate it like this. And then I'm going to go into my code snippets.html file where I have placed some of these hashtags so you can take a look at them and copy them from right here. This is just a little bit too much for me to type. So this is a regular expression that is going to remove a URL. You can kind of see what it's doing right here. It's taking some text from A to Z, from A to Z. So any text before the protocol, then a colon, and a couple of slashes, and then some other text, period, then some other slashes or numbers, etc., etc. So I'm going to copy that, go back into myscript.js, and place that right here in between these two slashes. This G means that it's a global replacement, so I'll paste all that in there. And my replacement is actually going to be a function, so it's going to be a function literal. The function is going to receive the data, and we'll put it in a variable called I from this text replace method that we're using. And what we will do here is create a variable. We'll call it URL, and we will set that variable to be I, the data that we get back, .link, and then set the link to this I variable. And then we'll return this URL. And we need to add a semicolon there. So we're taking the existing text and replacing any URL within the existing text with whatever is inside this function, which happens to be a link version of a URL. So this link method takes any text and converts it to a URL. It adds the http:// and anchor tags and all that. So if we save this and we refresh this page, we should see our links replaced with http:// links that actually are clickable to whatever this thing is mentioned right here. So that's pretty cool. Let's click on that, and you'll see that it'll take you to a website. So I'll hit the back button here to go back, and then we can do the same thing with other things. Let's go ahead and parse @usernames. So I'll do the same thing. Text is going to be equal to text.replace, and replace is going to want two things. First, a regular expression. So I'm going to do a global regular expression. I'm going to go over to my code snippets file. So I'm going to grab this second regular expression, which targets @username. So this will be something starting with an @ and then continuing on with some text. So let me copy that, come over here, and I'll put that in the middle right there of my regular expression. The replacement is going to be a function literal. So a function without a name. It's going to receive a letter I, and inside this function, I want to go ahead and type in, create an item. And that item is going to also be a replacement. So in here, I'm going to do another replace. My regular expression is simply going to be the @ because I want to remove the @ and then replace it with absolutely nothing. So essentially, this is going to delete the @ from the text. And then I will do another variable, URL. I'm going to set this one to be a link because I want the @ to be clickable to the person's profile. So this is going to be replaced with a link, and the link is going to take you to the Twitter page of the user, twitter.com/, and then I will put here the item, or essentially what we calculated over here, which is the username without the @. Okay, so item, and then we're going to return this URL. So let's save this. Let's take a look, refresh over here, and wait just a second, and you can now see that these @URLs are linking to the user's profile. So here's my good friend Justin Seeley, looking good. Okay, so now let's do one more. Although I don't have any hashtags, The next one is going to take care of any hashtags, which are a way of tagging things in Twitter. So let's do that. Text equals text dot replace. And here we're going to replace with a global regular expression. We'll go into the code snippets file. And the hashtags are essentially a pound sign plus some sort of letter or number sequence here. So we'll grab this, go back into our scripts, paste that right here in the search area. And then the replacement, once again, is going to be a function literal. So no name. And we're going to create an item here. And the item is going to be the data. And we need to make sure we put that right here as well. In this case, we're going to replace the hash symbol. We'll temporarily replace it with %23, which is the textual version of the hashtag. And then we will create a URL. And that is going to be equal to the I. And then we'll create a link surrounding the I. And this link is going to say http://search. So hashtags are essentially keywords. And what you do when you click on a hashtag is go to the search function of Twitter and pass along to this search URL your hashtag. And we will return this URL. So this is looking really good. Let's go ahead and refresh this. I don't think I see any hashtags in there, but if we did everything correctly, oh, we do have an Adobe hashtag right there. So that has been properly converted. And if we click on it, it should take us to instant updates on Adobe. So that's perfect. You can see that all the different types of replacements have been activated and they're working pretty well. So now that we have that, we could probably use formatting this feed a little bit better. I don't like where this picture is over to the left-hand side. So let's go ahead and open the CSS file. And we'll open up mystyles.css and just go all the way down to the bottom. Actually, I'd like to go right above the media queries. So I'll put it right there. And in here, we're going to go format the tweets and then format the list view, list items. And these are going to have a background of BBB. So I'm changing the background here a little bit. Change the font weight to be normal. We'll change that border to something a little more pleasant. So let's go ahead and change that background to something a little bit lighter. Then we'll go into the anchor tags. Right now they're kind of a little bit yellow. And so we'll change the color of them to something just a little bit darker gray. Really, you can make them whatever color you want. I'm just changing them to something it's not quite as obnoxious as some of the other colors. So we'll also go ahead and change the image now to have a border radius of 10 pixels. And we'll do WebKit border radius as well as Moz border radius. And then finally, we'll add a margin, 10 pixels, 0, 0, 25 pixels, just to center that a little bit better. So let's go ahead and see if triple E, let's go ahead and make it white. Let's go ahead and leave it triple E. That looks pretty good to me. So working with the Twitter stream shows us that we need to think of our feed when dealing with some of this data and pull out something like working with regular expressions in order to deal with some formatted data. So if you want to learn more about regular expressions, make sure you check out this course on the lynda.com online training library.